it's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Her Success Story, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. And I am Ivy Slater. I am the CEO and founder of Slater Success, a business that we are sharing the celebration of starting our 10th year of business. I want to today share a little bit of my journey and my success journey, how I got started, and what has worked and not worked for me. Before I do that, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Cindy Rain. She has been so amazing in doing this music for Her Success Story and sharing her amazing recording with our listeners. So check her out. That's Cindy Rain. And also stay tuned in the upcoming shows. You'll be having a full interview with Cindy and learning about her success journey and her music and how she became a writer, a songwriter, singer. And this show is comprised of dynamic women who've made a difference, who've done the highs and the lows in business, in careers, in life, and are here to tell their stories of how they show up every day. Really interesting is in my success journey has been the journey of procrastination of kicking off this podcast. So I'm 100% all about authenticity. And what you're going to always get from me is truth and the authentic self and the authentic facts. Not always pleasant facts, let me share with you. I started about 2.5 years ago toying with the fact of doing a podcast. I've had some great mentors and leaders in my own life and business, and I have been encouraged consistently to get this started. Well, the only thing consistent about my actions is that there haven't been any. I thought about it. I toyed with it. And I couldn't seem to actually make this get up and running. I even took my entire team to a class on podcasting, learning the do's and don'ts about podcasting. And I was like, yes, we got this. We can do this. We create marketing plans and marketing calendars for everything we do in Slater Success. I can do this for a podcast. And then I didn't. I got overwhelmed. It became a really big project. And I just kept putting it off on the back burner. And in 2017, about halfway, almost going into the last quarter, we had a team meeting of things that we were looking forward to in 2018. And the team brought up, Ivy, what about that podcast? And I said, you know what? It's time. I'm going to make things happen. That's the way I roll. I'm not going to procrastinate any longer. And I took a huge gulp. I was scared to death to do this. I don't know why. I've done a lot of crazy things in my life and my businesses, but this was one of my stoppers. So I said, okay, I'm in. I'm going to do this. And one of the key things that makes this happen is an amazing team. People who are willing to do what I don't do well. You know, I'm a professional speaker. I speak all the time. I can do that. I interview people. I love learning their story. I love researching them. I got all that. But that whole tech back end, well, that had to go elsewhere. And my team stepped up and really made things happen. And that's the amazing part of surrounding yourself with people who listen to you, who hear you, and who are willing to stand up with you to make things happen. Because great movements, great businesses, great adventures often don't happen alone. So in sharing this, we did get it together. My team put me on major deadlines, and they said I had to have 12 interviews in the bank, in the vault, before I can get started. And that became my focus in the last quarter of 2017. Finding and looking and reaching out to great women women who I wanted to talk further with, that I wanted to learn more about, that I knew that I would love to just sit across the table and have a cup of tea with them and actually just hear where they started, what they've navigated, and where they are today. And what tidbits do they have to share with me? Because I'm a woman who wants to learn. And that's what I'm engaged in all the time, is learning. So welcome to joining me on my learning crusade and hearing about their stories, as well as some of, the Slater success stories. What has brought me where I am? And I'm going to get started with that. I have been a business owner for over 20 years. And you know what? When you reach a certain point, you know to stop counting. So I will say in the late 80s, I got into the printing industry. I got out of corporate events because I was living a 7-day, 7-night world in sales, organization, and implementation of corporate events. And I knew I was married. I knew I wanted to start a family in a few years, not immediately, but a few years. And I am a planner by nature. I will tell you that planning comes down like through the female side of my family. That is just what we do, who we are. So it's natural for me to always have a plan. So when I said I was a few years out from having kids, and when I did start a family, I knew I wanted to be making good money in an industry that I was settled in. So I started navigating that career path. I ended up in the printing industry not knowing anything about printing, okay? And I went on to learn the industry, the sales aspect, what production was about, what black and white, 2-color, 4-color, and 6-color or more printing meant, what people printed in companies and why they needed me, a woman who knew nothing about printing. Because one thing I knew about was customer service, and I knew about listening, and that's what I built my printing career on. After I delivered my first child, I became partners in that company. And I went on to, it was very interesting. I became partners in this company. So there was 2 junior partners, myself and another gentleman, and 1 senior partner. And when I became a junior partner, within 6 months, that other junior partner left because he was not going to do business with another woman. He was not going to be in business long-term with another woman. Well, the senior partner said, well, I'm going to be retiring soon. I was looking for the 2 of you to lead this baby. And I said, don't worry about it. I got this handled. And I went on to start exploring and eventually merged our company, creating a $3.5 million sales organization. We had a great ride. We had 5 wonderful years. And my main objective during that, because I always have a goal. I always have a goal and I have a plan. And my main objective or my goal during that time was to have a second kid. Because I knew once I had what I was hoping for was 2 children in my life, I would be set and ready. And if this partnership worked long-term, that would be great. If it didn't, that was okay. So, partnerships are challenging, and that's a story for another day. And we can actually do a whole show around partnerships. In moving forward, at year 5, it was time for that business partnership, those partners to dissolve and me to move on to my own life, my own business. I had 2 kids. My youngest was already in preschool at that time. And I started my company, Slater Graphics. And when I did that, I knew I was the master of my own destiny. I could run my business my way. I could run it on my ethics, my integrity, and my belief system in how I do business. The way that belief system is that the customers come first. Their needs are a priority. Their needs are the results that we drive to. Those needs were not always really the printed piece, but possibly the deadlines, navigating with their bosses, so really listening well. Slater Graphics had a great ride. In 2007, I knew that I needed to move on, that I was bored out of my mind. My kids were teenagers at this point, and I was ready. I was ready to kind of move into my next adventure, and I wasn't quite sure what that would look like. I did truly have a midlife crisis when I was 45. And I remember I live in New York City, and I was doing walking lunges in Carl Schulz Park, working out with a friend of mine, and just crying my eyes out. And I was Noah's Ark. I cried for 30 days. With that, she looked at me and she said, "You ought to become a coach." I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you've helped me build my business." I said, "So what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, there's this whole new industry called coaching." Remember, this was 2007. It wasn't very well known. And she goes, "And you could really make a difference with women and help them build their business and earn the money they want to earn. You've done this. You've done this while you raised your kids. You built a great business. You've been vice president of the PTA in elementary school. You've done this and you've done that. You know, you're still on their committees in high school. And, you know, you need to be out there and you need to let other women know they can do this." And my response was like, "Why would they care? Everybody knows how to do this." And she goes, "No, Ivy, they actually don't." So I embarked on this and I started moving forward. And interestingly enough, I opened Slater Success in January of '08. After, of course, another plan. There was a plan to open this business, divest of the printing company. I put that into motion in '07. Obviously had discussions with my family, my husband, and we had a financial plan around me creating a new business. And I figured it was going to take me about 12 to 18 months to kind of get my revenue back. And I was going to back off a little bit also. I really was important to me to kind of be around when my kids were teenagers and those vulnerable years with a lot of outside influence. And we had a family plan, a financial plan. And what I didn't really have was a sales and marketing plan, in all honesty, to build this business. And things went really awry very quickly. Early in '08, as I was not connecting with building this business forward, there was no sales plan, there was no marketing plan. I didn't really know how to get clients. I didn't understand the difference of selling results versus selling a product that I sold for 20 some odd years. I was lost, confused, a mess, in all honesty. And in doing that, my husband's business suddenly closed. This had nothing to do with the financial crisis, but what the financial crisis did have to do is he couldn't build his business back because of certain inside factors that came up. And he had to close the doors, and there went our overhead, there went our income, our way to survive as I was transitioning. Now we both were really in trouble, and I knew I somehow had to get this business together. I knew whatever my timeline that I thought it was, which wasn't going well, kind of needed to be accelerated. I needed to figure stuff out, and I needed to figure out really quickly. Not that I can afford to at the time, but I started hiring an outside coach because I knew the one thing I needed to do was get out of my own way. By his business going under, we became 7 figures in debt. We were about to lose our home, and we needed to figure that out, where we were going to live with our kids, keeping them in the schools they were in. They were teenagers, and that was like the steadfast commitment we made that our kids would stay in their schools and that we would be okay. We knew it because our children were healthy and we were healthy. And we said, that is success to us. That's what success means. Our health, our kids' health, is all we need to be successful. Everything else is just about the action and the clarity. I went outside and got some help on the clarity and the commitment to taking action in my own business. I started turning this business around in a couple of years. I crossed 6 figures, went into multiple 6 figures, started speaking and doing workshops and running mastermind programs, and kind of scratching my head saying, wow, I could do anything I want. I just always need to know what I want to do. And that was really an interesting path. We've pulled ourselves forward. We are very, very grateful to have 2 kids now who are out of college, both working, both in their own apartments. Yeah, they need a little help now and then, but it's not really much. They really, use us as sounding boards in building their lives, and we have great joy in spending time with them. In my business today and moving into 2018, it has been really interesting because my youngest, my son, graduated last year. And I found myself in another tailspin of what do I want and why do I want it? One of my base principles in building any company, any leader, is being that connection to what do you want and why do you want it? So with that, I struggled a bit in the end of 2017 and in kind of repositioning of where am I going next? Who am I? So, I want the listeners to know out there that success is a journey. It is not a destination. And it's in the journey of success that we allow ourselves to take consistently and not adversely, take that step back and be willing to look at where we are in our lives, what we want in our lives at different stages. Life doesn't stay the same, nor do we as human beings. So embrace where you are. Embrace and think about what you want next for your life, and then build the career and the business that reaches that. We also I could see us doing another full episode on what you want and why you want it, because it's real significant work and really, really important in your success journey. So for today, I wanted to give you a little background. We have some great speakers sharing their stories, their success journey, how they have navigated building businesses, how they've navigated raising children while they've done it, how they've navigated making a difference in this world with founders of nonprofits and for-profit organizations and women out there who believe in women and believe in the journey of success, not the destination of it, and women who are committed to having fun while we do it together. So welcome to your success journey, where gutsy leaders and businesswomen share their success journey and share their stories. Cindy's going to give us some more great music on the way out today. And remember, check us out online, follow us, be listening to our guests, and I will see you in our success journey of her success story. Thanks for being here with me today.
Finally, I know that it's my time to shine.